And of course the batteries are about ready to go dead. Never fails, never fails. So I'm just having a hell of a day today, which we're going to talk about here in a second. I want to talk about something. As you can see here, we got putty around the ankle. Remember when I told you guys early on that resin is a little bit more fragile compared to vinyl or plastic? Well, I was taking Belle outside because I wanted to put this out in the sun for 4 or 5 hours to get the paint to cure up quicker. Because I put the primer on kind of heavy because I thought I had primer filler, and I don't. I have primer sealer. So I put the red oxide on a little heavier than normal, and I thought, okay, you know, it was taking a little longer to cure. And I thought taking her outside, putting her out in the sun for 4 or 5 hours would do the trick, and it did. We had a wonderful day yesterday. It was almost 90 degrees out, low humidity, beautiful sun, beautiful sky. I mean, it was just a perfect day. But I was bringing her in the house, and of course I dropped it. And if I probably would have let it fall, it probably would have been okay. But dummy me, you know, it's one of those things where you see it fall, you try to catch it, and all you do is smack it further out, and that's what happened. And when she landed on the sidewalk, I snapped it right at the ankle, this foot. So it's like, crap. But, you know, I'm telling you all this and showing you this because I want the new guys who might have never messed with the resin kit that if you break it, you know, it's not a lost cause. After I got it in the house and said a few sailor words, I took my X-Acto blade and kind of cleaned each side a little bit. And once I did that, I took my cordless here, and I took a circuit board drill bit. I took a 1.15 millimeter bit, and I drilled into her foot and I drilled into her leg. 2 holes. And then took a paper clip. Oh, where'd it go? I just shot out from underneath. There we go. Took a paper clip. I cut a little bit of it off. Inserted the pin into her foot. Well, actually I put super glue on it. Put the pin into her foot. Put some super glue on her leg and put the two together. And I let it dry. And then that reattached her foot to her leg. And we have a good strong support between the broken area with that paper clip in there. And then when it was dry, I took again my cordless, and let me move my camera here. Hopefully I won't knock it over. Hopefully I won't break that again. Took my reamer bit, and the same reamer bit I used to clean out the base is the same reamer bit I used on her leg, and that's this bit right here. I'm going to show it to you here in a second. It's this reamer bit right there. And I went lightly across the cracked area because when I reattached the foot, I didn't get it exactly perfect, and I had a bit of an overhang on the leg part, and I needed to basically get the 2 surfaces even back out again, since I didn't put it on there perfect. So I lightly went around the crack to even out the 2 surface areas, and this I had this on slow speed, first speed, and just lightly went around it, cleaned it all up, and evened everything all out. And then when that was finished, I took my Vallejo plastic putty, and I put a lot of it on there, and I wet my finger and I went around the broken area to smooth out the putty, and that's what you see here. Now once this is dry, I'm going to go back and do it again with the Vallejo putty, because acrylic putty, you know, it's water based, right? So when it dries, it's going to shrink on you, and you'll probably have to do it again, and that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to put another layer of Vallejo plastic putty across that crack, and we'll start sanding, and when we're done, we'll prime it, and you'll never know that I broke it. So we got the boot finished up now. I reprimed the boot, and I think it's looking pretty good. I did go over that break 2 more times with the Vallejo plastic putty and a wet brush, Since we're dealing with an area by her ankle here that's kind of wrinkled up, didn't want to do all that sanding and I got lazy. So I just used a wet brush to apply the putty and smoothing and get it how I wanted it, and then let it dry. Did it again with another coat with a wet brush, let it dry, and then I just shot the boot with primer again, and that's what you see there. So as I said earlier, you know, if you break a resin kit, providing it doesn't shatter into a million pieces, they could be fixed. So don't, you know, if you're new to resin and you break a piece, don't get too worried about it. It can be fixed, and you can go, you know, get yourself back on track and continue building your kit. So that's handled. So our next step after that was to start drilling into her legs to get the lacing going here. And I wasn't exactly too sure how to do it, because the guy's article that did this on his pretty much, you know, just said, you know, I drilled into her legs, used pins that I cut this length, put them in there and laced them up. So really, it wasn't too specific on the details. So I had to kind of figure out how I was going to do this, because, you know, I've never done this before, so this is all new for me, as, you know, trying to do crap like this. But I thought, well, you know, I wasn't going to try to eyeball it, because I'd be all over the place as far as my spacing. I thought, how the hell am I going to get even spacing? So I thought, well, I'll just take a piece of washi tape and I'll put it on her leg, I'll cut it to length. And once I had it on her leg, I took it back off and I put it down here on my cutting mat that has a ruler on the bottom of it. And I took a pencil and just marked it every 1/16 of an inch. Well, I started at the center, figured out where the center was, and then went every 1/16 of an inch one way and then the other way. And then after looking at the spacing, I thought, it's going to be too close. So I erased every line, and what we have is every 1/4 inch. So once I had that done, I took the tape back off and just put it back on her leg and used hash marks on my tape to know where I needed to drill, and kind of like, you know, like a guide, and drilled the holes in. The drill bit I used was a 0.70 millimeter, or a number 70 circuit board bit, and I put some tape on it to help me as far as the depth, so each hole would be the same depth. And I just followed the hash marks and just went up the leg, and I got all the, let me back this up here, got all the holes drilled. There we go. And then on the other side of the leg, I left the tape on, and I just kind of eyeballed it, still using those same hash marks, and just kind of eyeballed it and drilled across the tape. And I figured, well, that'll be close enough on there. It'll get me in the ballpark. And so now we got this leg done and all the holes drilled. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. There's 28 holes total on this leg. This leg, I'm not too sure I'm going to do, because, you know, I'm just winging this. I'm just, you know, and as I said, I've never done this before, so I'll probably use this same tape and stick it on here and hope that I can get the spacing all evened up to where it looks, you know, presentable. I'm not trying to get it to match the other leg, because that would be just like too hard. But if I can just get my spacing equal, that's all I'm really concerned about. So that's where I'm at on Belle, and today hopefully I can do a little bit of work here and get the holes drilled on this leg. Yep, I can't even see it. Get the holes drilled on this leg and get this finished up, and we can finally start painting Belle. I need to primer the upper half, get this in red oxide, and it'll be all good. Alright guys, that's where we're at on Belle. She's getting there. We're getting her looking spiffy. Alright, take care. We'll see you.